Right, everybody, how are you doing, my beautiful friends? I am amazingly incredible, as always. I kind of wanted to recap yesterday. And by the way, this is my first official video I'm doing for this channel, the love vibration, because that's the goal, to be in that, the higher vibration of love. Get out of those, lower vibrational states. I've been a negative person my whole life, but I'm trying to flip that around, just flip those negative thoughts into positive ones. So that's why I'm doing this. So yesterday was interesting. Day started off amazing, did my affirmations, feeling, incredibly, amazingly incredible as always. Visited some old friends. It was amazing to see them. And then I did the funniest thing ever. I went to a movie with my folks, at the age of 43, hanging out with my folks, seeing a movie, pretty insane. But we saw Disclosure Day, and Spielberg, I don't know what happened, man. You lost it. You did E.T. and Jaws, and then, I'm sorry, Disclosure Day. I loved the theme of it, just the thought of getting actual disclosure is amazing, but the movie itself was just like, it was just kind of generic. Just a couple people being chased the whole time. I'm not going to give a review or anything, but overall, not my favorite movie. I didn't think it was that good. But, so before we even saw the movie, I got to my parents' house. My dad was there, and he's been sick and not doing too great. And for the first time in like forever, he was in kind of a rotten mood. Not like the worst mood ever, but for him it was noticeable, because my dad's like the sweetest guy ever. But I was talking to him about putting laundry in, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that, because then we're gonna see the movie and it's just gonna sit in the washer, and I don't like doing that. He's like, whatever. And like, my dad's never like sarcastic like that, so I was like, wow. So that kind of like caught me off guard a little bit, and kind of, I let it bring me down, because my guard wasn't up, so I'm just kind of like, it kind of lowered my spirits a little bit. But anyways, then we see the movie, and 30 minutes of previews, and like, but by the time those were over, I was already tired. I'm like, oh man, now I have to see a movie. And I'm kind of noticing my energy it's getting lower, and so my thoughts are getting lower with that energy. As my body's getting tired, so is my mind. So those the positive thoughts aren't coming naturally anymore as when I'm feeling better physically. So I start telling myself, I caught myself, I'm like, you know what, no, everything's amazingly incredible, blah blah blah. But I realized I was just telling myself that, and I actually wasn't really feeling that way. But I thought it was a good test to test out these affirmations I've been doing, seeing the effect they have when I'm actually, physically just like kind of wiped out. And it was a good test, because, I didn't pass it that great. I found myself getting irritable. I was not consciously trying to have a good interaction and connection with my folks. I kind of slipped back into that old person that I always am with them, I'm not afraid to tell them, I think your way of thinking is wrong. I turned into that guy, and I realized that I don't like being that way. Because then I'm insinuating that I'm right and they're not. And which, unfortunately, I guess I do believe that my beliefs actually are right, even though I know they don't mean anything. No one's beliefs actually really mean anything, including my own, because I don't know. No one actually knows. And this is referring to like stuff going on in the universe, like as far as like aliens or, God or anything. We know as much as we think we can, and we believe what we want to believe, kind of. So therefore, no one's beliefs really mean that much, including my own. But I recognized that I was just not having the best day, that my energy was starting to lower just from being wiped out. But anyways, I mean, I think we need those. We need those tests. Because when we're feeling incredibly amazing, you know, for real, and we don't have to think about it, it's easy to, you know, be in that high vibration. But it's when, you know, we're kind of, you know, stressed or overwhelmed or whatever, that's when, you know, the true test comes. Does it really help to tell ourselves, you know, I'm full of energy, even when you feel like taking a nap, you know, if you got work to do, you know, to just make it through. But overall, I think it was a success. You know, I think it was learning. It was learning, and that's what everything's about. You know, I will appreciate this day of Earth School and whatever it has to bring. You know, it's all about learning, and it's not all about sunshine and rainbows all the time. In fact, it's way harder to learn when things are going great all the time. You need that bump in the road to really show you what you're made of. So I was thankful for, you know, yesterday, and the fact that I got to spend time with my folks and do something like go see a movie with them after, like it was wild, you know. I was proud of it, you know. It was cool. Just the fact that I'm blessed and I could do that. That's so cool. Yo, crazy, amazing. Guys, I hope you're feeling incredibly amazing. Thank you for checking out the love vibration. What that means is, you know, we're gonna vibrate high, you know, in that spirit of love, gonna connect with everyone, love everyone. That is the goal. That is the goal. That's a person we're trying to become. No, we are that person. It's in us. We just gotta access it. We're already that person. You're already that person. All right. Love you guys. Bye.